Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having an incredible day, morning, afternoon, and or evening. Likes, comments, and subscriptions are always very much appreciated. Welcome back for another relatively okay video. I was actually a little bit shocked this morning. A lot of the news, this is all feeling very pre-FTX kind of news, which I was very happy about. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The price news was a little bit all over the place. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Ethereum's price holds strong at $1,250. A strengthening case for upside. There was a lot of, you'll see, there was a lot of Ethereum price news and another coin which we're also going to be talking about. And everyone's talking about the strengthening case for Ethereum, how strong Ethereum is, how Ethereum's going to Ethereum itself or something like that. It says Ethereum lays the groundwork for a surge above $1,500. Sure, it's definitely possible. We are at the constant behest of other markets, but there's nothing once again really stopping us from getting to where we previously were before. We got to a 4,004, and just dropping this in there as if you'd never heard it before. We got to 4,400 before we even had the merge, and its issuance rate dropped by 90%. So it just seems logical that at some point we will get back to those numbers once again. But a lot of the articles floating around always have this constant if we move up by 3% today, then basically sky's the limit. We're going to be going up forever. But then the moment prices go down by 0.5%, then it's this really weird, woe is us kind of sentiment that ends up flowing through the markets. It says crypto prices today. Dogecoin, Binance Coin, Solana, and Ethereum plummet yet again. That is a very strong word. The cryptocurrency market, roughly, averagely, is down by anywhere from 0.5% to around 2%. Nothing has plummeted. Nothing is down by 18.5%. Nothing is, at a disastrous price level. But then it says Terra Classic soars. That is the other coin that was very, very, very popular today. And I was a little shocked. That's why I said, it's feeling like it's 5 weeks ago all over again. For some reason, this took over any type of Bitcoin or Ethereum price news. Apparently being that Binance has done what they said they were going to do. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume, has finally burned its monthly portion of Terra Classic via the famous 0.2% burn tax. So for those of you who missed that about a couple of months ago, the people from Terra Luna Classic tried to revive the coin, and one of the reviving measures was to implement, I believe it was a 1.2% tax. I think that, I don't remember. Anyway, there was a tax that was supposed to happen on every single transaction that was happening within the coin's ecosystem. And everyone went completely insane because they were discussing how much coins would be burned over the course of X amount of time. It's supposed to happen once again every transaction, but from what I can remember, Binance was like, whoa, hold your horses. Doing this every single day is a bit intense. So they said we're going to do it once a month. From the burn, the tax was reduced from 1.2% down to 0.2%, and this is where we currently are right now. It says, recall that Binance used to report, there we go. As reported by Lunk Burn Tracker, that is LUNC Burn Tracker, an account dedicated to tracking and reporting all Luna Classic burn transactions. In November, as we are the beginning of December, Binance incinerated, strong word, 6.3 billion Luna Classic, worth roughly around $1 million, and everyone's been talking about it. It's the greatest thing in the entire world. As Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange on the planet, they burned, it's even weirder to think of, they burned 6 billion Luna Classic tokens. If we still had the old burn tax rate, that would have been, 30, anywhere from 30 to 36 billion coins would have also been burned, which I think we would have definitely seen a much higher price rise. As if you didn't catch the hint, Terra Luna Classic is one of the very few coins that is currently pumping. Like a legitimate pump is happening within that coin. I think the highest it went up was around 17%. It's currently floating around, I think 12 to 15 last time I was somewhere looking at it. It says breaking: Binance burns over 6 billion Terra Classic tokens. And that is just the one, what do you call it? The one website or place that's actually doing the most of it, because there are tons of other places. There's like, what was the other really weird thing? There's like a music studio that's burning Luna Classic. There's a whole bunch of really weird stuff happening in this space. So this was the most popular price news story of the day as it stands right now. I will admit, it is very nice to see news like this and nothing talking about that prices are collapsing because Sam Bankman-Fried farted too loud in public or something. There's always something very, very weird that I just am not completely here for. But yeah, also tying directly into that as well. Yeah, the stock market is currently down by a little bit. That's why I was saying earlier, we are at the behest of other markets, the stock markets around the world, and they fell by a tiny bit. That is because it is Friday, and on Friday, today, we're supposed to have more job reports. Yeah, you know, the thing that has been dragging markets down also for the last year as well. Why? Because as inflation rises and companies can't allegedly afford to pay their employees anymore, people have been, like mass layoffs have been happening. And we are going to hear today if these layoffs have been mitigated by people finding new jobs, or are more people applying for unemployment benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it ain't looking too good, as the kids say, simply because as the economy does worse, companies are continuing to lay off more and more people to be able to recoup extra funds, to be able to tell investors at the end of a quarter that they are doing better than they did the previous quarter, because companies are also not doing well because a lot of people aren't buying stuff. You know what's really funny? And I don't think any of you actually knew this about me. Not that you have to know, but here we are. I used to love, and I mean capital LOVE, Black Friday shopping videos. You know, like, seeing people like rush into stores and like everyone's fighting over a television. I don't know why I liked it. It was a big spectacle to me. Even as a child, I found it very, very fascinating. But over the last couple of years, like, you know, I'm not in the States, so I usually just watch stuff on YouTube. And then something popped up on my YouTube feed this year. I'm going to get to the point, don't worry. On my like YouTube suggested. And I clicked on it, and it was about Black Friday shopping, and they were showing a mall somewhere in the States, and it was empty. It was about 6 in the morning on a Friday. If you're from the States, you know that is very weird, because usually Black Friday, the crowds are around the corner and then looped around once again, and people are getting ready to fist fight for a waffle maker. But there was no one there. No one was actually shopping because most people don't have the money to be able to do so. Most people have lost their jobs. So it's interesting to see this ripple effect across the entirety of the world in every single corner of what would normally be there. I expect we're going to have some crazy videos once again in about 3 years, but alas, yeah, there were none this year. On top of that, Asian markets have begun to awake. And they're also slightly going down as well. I don't know for the exact reasons why, but we are currently in the midst of, if the U.S. stock market looks really bad, every other stock market around the world is doing the exact same thing. So at the moment, prices are down in the cryptocurrency market, but they're down by like a smidge. It is nothing dramatic, catastrophic, or crazy. I assume we're going to have relatively bad job news because, you know, things are poop right now. And also Luna Classic, and I think there's one other coin, are currently up by like 15%. So, you know, silver lining and all that. That's all the price news. Not too bad. Not too bad. And yeah, let's move on. In the most popular news story of the day, Coinbase's wallet iOS application no longer supports NFT transactions because of Apple's strict new policies on NFTs, which were announced in October. So I'm going to give you the news, and then I'm going to tell you my side of the story, because it's a bit of a doozy. They said, and I quoteth, you might have noticed you can't send NFTs on Coinbase Wallet iOS anymore. This is because Apple blocked our last app release until we disable the feature. This was said by Coinbase Wallet account on Thursday. While NFTs aren't outright banned on Apple's mobile app store, they are subject to a hefty 30% tax on every transaction. If developers aren't able to implement that requirement, their app will be blocked from the store. So remember, some of you, and I'm talking generally here, and it's going to be like 4 people. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I was complaining that I went on to VV and I was trying to buy gems, and like there was, I was trying to buy I think 600 gems, and it was trying to charge me like 700 something or 800 something, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. Yeah, it's because apparently every single platform that's now transferring or doing some kind of money, especially when it comes to NFTs, you now have to pay a 30% tax on the transaction. Why Apple thought that a 30% tax should have been applicable, I'm not really sure. I think many companies and even many people would have been lightly fine with a 5 to 10% transaction fee. But 30% just makes people stop using it. I've only started using the web app for VV, because why would I want to pay 30% tax on this as well? This was incredibly popular news. When I looked around on Twitter, I like to absorb the Twitter anger before I actually read articles, because I want to see if people have misconstrued the news in any sort of way. So the news was originally thrown around that Apple was banning NFTs in general because they didn't like them, and that people were calling Apple stupid. And I think there was also something going on with Muskrat and Apple as well, and people were upset with that, and people thought that Apple was trying to do this. And it's like, that Apple is one of the biggest companies on the planet, right? And I would assume at this point, many people can understand the difference between centralization and decentralization. They are a company. They are centralized. They are one of the largest companies on the planet. Aren't they worth like over $1 trillion or something like that dollars? They can do what they want, when they want, how they want, because they fooled nearly everyone out there that Apple products are the best. So everyone is tied to an Apple product in some sort of way. So when they implement a tax like this, they expect that people have no choice but to pay it, because you are using their products. They can do what they want, how they want, when they want. I remember reading over some of this around October, because I go over cryptocurrency news every single day, even if it's just stuff that's in news I missed. So them announcing this in October and Coinbase being like, what'd you guys do? Doesn't make a lot of sense, because it seems like to me that Coinbase should have actually alerted the public that this was going to be taking place, and that by December people would not have access or complete access to the NFTs that they have on Coinbase Wallet. So yeah, it's a little weird, because to me it's like, well, it's Apple. We've seen Apple's practices over the last, I'll say 17, I wouldn't even say a good 20 years. Since the iPhone came out, we know that I'm trying to use my words lightly because the algorithm's listening. Hello, algorithm. We know that previously, before, they have done things that have gotten them in trouble by Congress and Senate and the European Council. So long story short, before I say something I shouldn't say, this is just Apple. However, people were making it seem as if Apple is trying to stop decentralization and stop the growth of the cryptocurrency space. You know what would have really helped the growth of the cryptocurrency space is if cryptocurrency companies stopped using centralized entities. Bingo. Yeah, no one thought of that one, right? Wouldn't it have made more sense if over, and I'll even give it a good 4 years, when NFTs first began to grow into the public spotlight, if Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, and Fourth Name all got together to create an actual decentralized NFT wallet, and they all worked together so that there was no discussion of if your transactions were going to be blocked, or you couldn't move your coins, or you couldn't move your NFTs. Because I find it really weird that through all of this, every single time that something happens with a centralized entity, a company who can do whatever they want on their own platform because you own their phone, everyone goes, I can't believe what's going on, and everyone freaks out as if you don't realize you realize that the rest of the world is heavily centralized. This is why we called it a central bank. It is not all called a decentral bank. It's the other one, the first one that I said. So I think Coinbase blaming Apple is kind of nonsensical. Apple told everyone 2 months ago that this was going to happen. Coinbase should have relayed that to all of their customers. And also more so, just create actual decentralized things. How often do we have to keep going through this dance of pointing fingers and blaming someone else instead of blaming the entire cryptocurrency community? Why don't we have actual decentralization? Even the coins that we have are no longer hyper decentralized because they are constantly on centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. So when these exchanges go down, people go, but Bitcoin's decentralized. Yeah, Bitcoin is properly decentralized. The cryptocurrency exchange you had your money on is not. How long does this have to go on with people pretending that they don't understand what decentralization actually is? Why haven't the community come together at this point to create actual decentralized exchanges? Actual properly decentralized wallets that we can all run nodes for. It's not that difficult. I'm sure. I'm certain. The other crap that's been created out there, all that effort could have been put to actual wallets that exist that are actually decentralized, and on your phone, you can run a node. Imagine a wallet that we could all use free of charge, no transaction fees to store our cryptocurrencies. And there are 17 million nodes verifying transactions or keeping things safe. Doesn't that sound a lot more decentralized? Anyway, the point is this has happened once again, so everyone's freaking out. Coinbase calls out Apple for blocking NFT transactions on iOS. Coinbase disables mobile NFT transfers, citing Apple's App Store policies. So, cool. We, me, you, us now collectively all know that this is a thing. No one can say that they didn't know or that they're super surprised that Apple would do it. But Apple's so cool because they have like an Apple logo and, you know, you can like eat the phone. So now we know how they are. We know what they do. Where do we go from here? Who's going to create the thing that stops us from having to use Apple? Yeah, see, that's the hard part because no one actually wants to build these things because it's easier to build onto a centralized entity. Remember before when we had news, there were 3 coins. I can't remember the name of them. When people found out that the mining, what do you call it? The hash power for these coins, I think it was more than 50%, was coming from Amazon Web Services. Like in the Amazon cloud was allocating the more than 50% of the cloud service, of the energy, whatever, hashing power to actually mine those coins. And I remember in the video, I was like, that's not raising a red flag to anyone, that we know that it's at any point Amazon could pull the plug and simply go, nah, we don't want to do this anymore. People thought that in a decentralized cryptocurrency, they could use a centralized entity like Amazon for their hash power and weren't expecting anything to go wrong. If stupidity persists in the space, we will have stupid things happening to us. That's just how it goes. So that's the Apple news. I mean, wow, dude. I can't believe it. Wow. I don't know how to fake that for some reason. That's the Coinbase. Says that Apple is stopping them from moving NFTs or something like that. And I bet you in 3 weeks we will not be hearing that Coinbase is making a new wallet or something more decentralized or something that will allow people to trade their NFTs. News. All right. Let's move on. Also, and I'm not sure how this became popular news, but it was. A cryptocurrency law, which has been in discussion for several months, has been approved by the Chamber of Deputies in Brazil after having shed some of the changes presented by the Senate. The proposal, left out two planned tax exemptions for green mining operations and the issue of segregating customer assets from company funds for virtual asset service providers. The cryptocurrency law project, identified with the number 4041-2021, was approved by the Chamber of Deputies in the session on the 29th of November. The law project, whose discussions and approvals were postponed several times due to the general elections, must now be ratified by Bolsonaro, who must then sanction it before declaring it law. Why this was popular news? What was it? So people can now mine in Brazil and are tax exempt? Did I miss something? Okay, they said we are voting on a historic matter. Today, the country is ahead of others when it regulates an activity with digital assets. We have the support of the current government and the future government for that matter. So, you know how like a lot of times we get really weird news and it ends up being like popular news that day? This is one of them. I did not think that mining crypto in Brazil approval news would be popular, but alas, here we are. Nothing more to this news except for the fact that it was popular and it kept on popping up everywhere. And I was like, oh, I was expecting like they were using it as their fiat, or they were doing something, or another city started accumulating Bitcoin or something. Nope. It's just that people signed a piece of paper and now it has to be signed by the president. Oh boy. Back to the good old days. Oh, I spoke too soon. So here's news that is supposed to not only scare you, but also bring up reminders of how terrible and scary FTX is. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink admitted that he may have been misled by FTX alongside Sequoia. The news is BlackRock apparently had $24 million invested with FTX. For those of you who don't know BlackRock, and you should, here's a question. Do you think that BlackRock has more than $24 million or less than $24 million on their order books? For those of you who said more, you get a digital cookie. Right, so do they have over $1 billion? Or do they have over $100 billion? That's right, they have over $100 billion. Here's another one. Does BlackRock currently have over $100 billion? Or do they have over $1 trillion? If you said the T word, you're correct once again. BlackRock has over $1 trillion. Wait, hold on. Does BlackRock currently have more than 1 trillion or 9 trillion US dollars? If you said 9 trillion, here's your digital cookie. I'm sure someone just reached out for it. I'm actually holding my hand out, so I gave you something that you can't even see. Yeah. BlackRock, the world's largest anything, currently is in possession of $9 trillion worth of assets. That is a trillion with a T. It is almost inconceivable for the human mind to actually understand how large $1 trillion is, nonetheless 9 trillion. Their losses total $24 million. They probably make that in a second. And you think I'm joking. Have you ever, if you get a chance, go to Google and type in how much money does Jeff Bezos make per day? You can even do it like per minute or per hour. And you'll see it's a staggering amount. And that's with 120 billion that he has. When you have $9 trillion under assets and you are making money because you own everything on the planet and tons of real estate and, a large portion of the stock market, they're probably making $24 million per second. So this was also quite popular news. I'm not sure if we were supposed to feel sorry for BlackRock. As I spoke, as I took in that breath, they made that money back. I think everyone, apparently, this is the way that it seems, had an allocation of money into FTX. I would even go so far as to say BlackRock probably has an allocation of money in Binance and in Coinbase and in Kraken because they're BlackRock. They're the company that owns everything. So it would make sense that they would imagine it took you 1 second to make $20 million. Over the course of a day, you could invest in anything that you wanted. So of course they're going to do so. This news was floating around as if, it was meant to be catastrophic, or we're meant to go, even BlackRock? This is crazy, man. BlackRock is such a great BlackRock is, how do I say this? You don't get to $9 trillion without stepping on a few faces and backs and arms and legs and other things. Think about that. Think what you have to do to have a valuation of $9 trillion. So, also in popular news, BlackRock had an allocation in FTX. And during the interview, he was saying that he feels misled, he feels lied to. Sure, I don't know why they're trying to get more press time because, dude, it's, once again, it takes them seconds. Go to Google. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. How much does Jeff Bezos make per hour? It is going to terrify you and you will have nightmares when you think about how rich these people actually are. That's the, BlackRock lost a huge amount of money news. They'll never be able to recoup that. Oh, wait, they just did. All right. Let's move on. Also in popular news that doesn't really relate to like 99% of people on the planet, Brussels' financial authority has clarified that cryptocurrencies without an issuer cannot be classified as securities. Wonderful. The Financial Services and Market Authority, or FSMA, announced that digital assets issued exclusively by computer codes could not be treated as securities. The announcement was in response to more and more queries on the financial policy framework and its applications to crypto. They said, if there is no issuer, as in cases where a computer code creates instruments, and this is not done in execution of an agreement between issuer and investor, for example, Bitcoin or Ether, then, in principle, the prospectus regulation, the prospectus law, and the MIFID rules of conduct do not apply. So I think people were just happy that a regulator in general announced that, once again, Bitcoin and Ether are not securities. And apparently, theirs is relatively different to what the US SEC says. So unless Brussels law or statement goes across the entirety of the European Union, cool. Because if it blankets Europe, then everyone would be like, oh, cool, amazing, because people... Anyway, the point is, right. This was also very, very popular news. A lot of people were talking about this as well. But it kind of makes sense because, sure. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the SEC anymore. That's the Brussels regulator. Says Bitcoin and Ether not securities, and that I guess that also would be Litecoin and a couple of other coins that are being created by machines. So all of them? I don't know. All right. Let's move on. Uh-oh, it happened again. What? That's crazy. Ankr. That is ANKR, a decentralized financial protocol that is based on the Binance coin chain, what has been exploited, according to a Friday announcement. The attacker managed to create a massive number of Ankr reward-bearing staked Binance coin known as ABNBC tokens. This happens all the time. So for once again, I know FTX seems like it's crazy, but these hacks and exploits and scams, they actually take place all the time in the cryptocurrency space. So welcome to your second one or your 18th one, depending on how long you've been in the cryptocurrency space. It's also super weird that every single one of these platforms has a coin and then creates another coin that allows you to get the reward from staking another coin that they've created. And those are always the coins that end up being exploited. Why was there an Ankr reward bearing staked BNB ABNBC coin? What the is that? Like, what is even that? According to blockchain security firm PeckShield, okay, the ABNBC token contract has an unlimited mint bug. Whoa, so you were able to create as much as you wanted. No one saw that one coming except for the hacker. The price of the token has collapsed by nearly 100% following the exploit. And then the guy used a bunch of websites to basically obfuscate his transactions. And at the moment, he made away with roughly $10 million worth of USDC coins, which he swapped into. And then he kind of got away. So, this was also unpopular news. A lot of people seem to be confused and confounded. Don't forget that Binance Smart Chain also had like a $500 million hack. I think it was also this year as well. But people forget very, very quickly. Everyone follows the new scary news, and that becomes the new thing that everyone is supposed to be terrified about. So, I remember people telling me before to look into Ankr. Nope. That's why I don't listen to people. Not even joking, because people keep telling me in the comment section or on Twitter to look into these coins, and I look at the website and I'm like, that's fake. That's not real. So once again, another decentralized finance protocol has been hacked. I guess there's going to be another one. Today's Friday. I give it next Thursday. Next Thursday we should, because it keeps happening over and over and over. So that's interesting. Once again, there is a link in the description below if you want to have a ledger, because with all these hacks, you must be terrified at this point for your coins and where they are, because everything seems to not be doing too well. That wasn't a joke either. That was simply like, realistically, everyone keeps talking about on Twitter how afraid they are of these hacks and where they're putting their money. And it's like, okay, use a ledger. I have like 7 ledgers. I've been using them for years. So, all right. That's the Ankr exploit news. Let's move on. For some reason, and I please help me, because I would love to understand what's going on. So, the other most popular news thingy of the day has to do with Dogecoin. For some reason, I don't know where this is getting started, where or how people are talking about this, or where all of the excitement is actually coming from. But Dogecoin in the news today is everyone talking about how much the coin is going up and how much higher it's going to go, and praise Elon Musk. I'm actually not joking. So this one, and even here's the precursor of it. It says Dogecoin's Bitcoin beating bounce may be bad news for the market. They're attempting to say in the article that Dogecoin has gone up so much in the last week and a half that other coins may suffer because of how well that it's doing. I don't know where the delusion is stemming from. I can't begin to understand. It says Dogecoin price prediction for 2023 to 2025. Will Doge price explode? Well, yeah, I mean, probably. If we get to a situation, if we get to March and we hear that interest rates are no longer rising and we have a $30,000 Bitcoin, just assume that Dogecoin has also gone up by around a good 60-70% as well. That's what one would logically assume. If we see Ethereum's price going up, of course, every single coin has the potential to move a lot higher. We usually just have to wait for the market makers. This one says, Doge price analysis and prediction. Doge taps 11 cents following 7-day recovery. Can it sustain momentum? Probably. Depends on how well the market continues to do. 3 reasons to believe in the Dogecoin boom. I'm not sure what happened over the last 24 hours, but okay. This one says Dogecoin is up by 24% in the past week as Twitter's speculation refuses to, it won't let up. The idea being, for those of you who missed it, Muskrat bought a failing company, and one of the ways that people believe that he can make it no longer a failing company is by integrating cryptocurrencies onto the platform. We had news, it's about 2 weeks ago now, that apparently people, or rather Twitter, had filed to become a money transmitting service. As far as I can tell, with the US anything, it takes a couple of years to actually get these things to go through. We know that one of the main reasons for Changpeng Zhao to give $500 million to Elon Musk for the acquisition of Twitter was he wants to integrate Web3 onto the platform. So I think at some point it's going to be there. Do I think it's this week? No. Do I think it's in like 12 weeks? Also no. It'll take them a while to be able to get all those licenses. Also, here's some logic here. Keep this in mind. You won't be able to use it how you believe you'll be able to use it. I.e., a lot of people think that Twitter is going to become the next Coinbase, the next coin hub, where you can do whatever the fudge you want at any given time. That's not how it's going to work. The reason they're asking for a money transmitter license is because when they do announce, and I'm saying when because it seems evident at this point that they need to make money in some sort of way, that when they do announce that they're going to be implementing all of these coins onto the platform, you are going to have to give them your ID, your information, the same way you would for Coinbase or another exchange because of anti-money laundering laws. Surprise! We went over that already. A lot of people, I see people talking online. It's as if, people are talking about that Twitter is going to be like the next place, like the next it. Elon Musk is a genius. He knows exactly what he's going to do. He's actually one of the... Anyway, the point is, sure. So I guess the speculation is there because people are in love with Elon Musk and everything that he says that he's going to do that he never actually does. Challenge me on that. Go to Twitter right now and tell me from the last 10 years what he's actually done, because no one has been able to tell me because I know that I'm correct. And don't mention him founding Tesla because he didn't. He bought it from someone else. Don't mention SpaceX because everyone knows. Cool. Amazing. Wow. His engineers managed to get a rocket to re-land again. Tell me about Hyperloop. Tell me about the free satellites for free internet around the world. What was the other thing? We are a year away from being on Mars. Still waiting for that. And what was the other? Anyway, the point is, I got a bit off track because he's just terrible, and I don't understand how people like him at all. Cool. Dogecoin was incredibly popular news today. I'm not sure where this resurgence came from, but just understand. I mean, really, when these coins are integrated into Twitter, because it seems to be the path that we are on, you will not be able to transfer millions of dollars back and forth to your friends whenever you want. It is going to be as restricted as a cryptocurrency exchange, and you will have to still pay taxes on these transactions. Surprise! Don't forget about that one, especially if you're in the United States. So, sure, why not? I own, I think, no Dogecoin. Unless someone has sent me Dogecoin, I don't own any Dogecoin. I mean, just for the sake of the meme, I kind of want it to go to $1 just so people will kind of shut up about it, because this entire hyper speculation about the coin is the weirdest thing in the entire world. I hope it goes to $1. I hope it goes to $1.50. I hope that you're able to buy a new house with it and have a gigantic Doge in the window. I hope that you are able to buy a Porsche and find a pretty girlfriend with the coins you're accumulating. Because I mean that really, because at this point it's a little cringy how much people love Elon Musk and how obsessed people are with Dogecoin. That there's millions of Dogecoin created every single day, right? It's not deflationary. We know that there are millions of coins created. You can Google it. Dogecoin issuance rate. How many Dogecoin are created per day? So for the sake of the Twilight Zone, I hope we eventually get there. That's the Dogecoin is up 24% in the past week because news. All right. Yeah, move on. Rightio. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Martin Steuer, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Ratter, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, and let's move on, Empire Queen, Roman Geba, Bitcoin Ben, Arachno Dave, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quoted, Biddy, Troy, All Good, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro, Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Machonisa, and on Crypto with Lido. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. Thank you to everyone who left a like, a comment, or has subscribed. Tell me in explicit terms why you like Elon Musk. I would love to know. I mean, tell me. If it has to do with him being rich, that doesn't count. If it has to do with you wanting to be him so you can live his life, that also doesn't count. A lot of people want to be other people. It doesn't really. What has he done for you specifically in life that makes you love him so much? Tell me the answer. Like, tell me exactly, because you know what's even funnier? There are websites where you can go to see all the claims that Elon Musk has made over the last 10 years and how many of them have actually come true. It's none of them. Hyperloop is that thing under Las Vegas that is an underground highway. He said that by 2018 or 2019, AI would become so powerful that it would take over humanity. Nothing he has said has come true. He just says really big, amazingly grandiose things. But then 3 years later, he says something else, and everyone, his followers at least, has forgotten the things that he said before. It's very, very weird. I think it's just a normal syndrome of a lot of people where people follow. I think people follow rich people because they think that they're more intelligent because of how rich that they've become, as opposed to being like, oh, it could also be because of corruption or simply like passed down wealth. I've noticed that a lot in my life. A lot of people tend to heavily put rich people on a pedestal and talk about how smart they are. And it's like, no, they're not really that smart. You know, they have other people working for them. You step on a couple of people, you can get rich as well. Not telling you to do that. You would. Anyway, the point is, yeah, please tell me, because no one still has been able to tell me. People try fighting me on Twitter all the time, and I'm like, you haven't said anything. Like that person, who were you? A couple of weeks ago, somebody was trying to explain to me, oh gosh, what coin was it? Why XRP was more decentralized or better than Bitcoin and Ethereum, and all they did was copy and paste stuff that was on some website, and everyone was like, oh, burn, he got TMI, and I was like, he didn't tell me anything. I know how many transactions per second. I'm the one who told everyone else about XRP in 2017. I knew about the coin before everyone else and realized that it was going to go over $1. You haven't told me anything. You haven't told me why banks and institutions are only buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and not buying XRP, at least publicly, in mass. I find it weird that they would keep that a secret when they're so into. What was that woman doing? That was weird. She was like running down the street with a bike in front of her, but she had the baby carriage with her. What was that? That was the weirdest. She was moving her legs like she was. Anyway, it was weird. She was running, but the bike was moving. But she wasn't on the bike, but the baby part was on the bike. And that was exhausting to see. Anyway, at the moment, Bitcoin's down by less than 1%. Ethereum's down by less than 0.5%. Binance coin is down by 3%. Anything else crazy? Polkadot is up by 3%. Uniswap is up by 2%. Filecoin, for some reason, right now is pumping. It is up by 4.8%. Internet Computer with $37 million of trading volume, easily manipulatable, is up by 3.8%. Luna Classic is up by 10.72 percentile points. And something called Trust Wallet Token, okay, is up by 15% as well. Anything that has the word trust in it, I don't trust it. It's kind of like if you look at any country that has a democratic or republic in their name, they're usually not democratic or republic. That's the usual. Yeah, look at a map. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, commenting, or subscribing. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. Ciao.